Welcome back everybody to Heroes Avenue, where we talk about a week's worth of comic book related movie news and try to make sense of it all. I'm your host Darren Cruz and this is Heroes Avenue. Let's get started. So a lot of announcements came out this week, mainly about directors and screenplayers being assigned certain projects within the X-Men camp and the DC camp, but they're all pretty much positive news, so there's no downers this week. It's gonna be good, guys, so here we go. So last week I talked about how Sophie Turner for Game of Thrones kind of talked about how she's gonna start shooting X-Men soon, and we didn't know that much about it. So this week we learned that Simon Kinberg, the producer and writer for Age of Apocalypse and all the other X-Men movies, just such as X-Men Last Stand, X-Men Days of Future Past, he's gonna be assigned to this project as the director, and I think they're going to call it Supernova, and it's going to be focusing on the Dark Phoenix saga. None of this is confirmed yet, but these are all rumors, but I have a feeling this is pretty accurate. The second news that came out this week is Drew Goddard, the original screenplayer for the Daredevil Netflix series and the upcoming Defenders series that's coming out on Netflix, as well as Cabin in the Woods. This guy has done a bunch of projects, and he's going to write the next Deadpool 2 movie that's coming out with Ryan Reynolds. It's gonna be exciting. I'm intrigued on what his take is gonna be like for this movie, and I think Deadpool 2 is gonna be smaller budget just because Ryan Reynolds wants to go through that approach, and yeah, he doesn't want a big scale movie. I think that's why him and the original director from the first movie kind of bumped heads. So I'm excited to see how Drew Goddard is gonna screenplay this movie, and how it's all gonna pan out. So the third story this week is that Patrick Stewart, Xavier, is going to be retiring from the X-Men series after Logan. Yes, guys, this is definitely a sad news that came out yesterday, which is Friday. Today's Saturday, for me at least. He announced that he's going to be quitting the X-Men series. The guy's really old. He's done his part. He's made a bunch of movies with X-Men. He did his dues. I am sad to see him leave, but I'm excited to see James McAvoy take on the Xavier role moving forward. So the fourth announcement that came out this week is that Joe Carnahan, the producer and writer for The Grey, Smoking Aces, is going to be screenplaying X-Force. I love X-Force. It's one of the first few comics that got me into comics with the Rick Remender series. So I'm definitely excited to see his take on it. The Grey is an awesome movie. If you guys like Liam Neeson from Taken and you guys like Revenant, it's basically Liam Neeson in the Revenant movie, but instead of a bear, it's him versus a wolf. It's pretty dope. It's a small budget movie, but if you guys love Liam Neeson, he can't go wrong, and you guys are gonna definitely enjoy it. Now that we're done with the X-Men announcements, let's get to the DC stuff. So Shazam is coming out, guys, and they finally found the director. His name is David Sandberg. He directed a Lights Out. It's a horror flick. You guys a lot of you guys might have not seen it, but it's a very small budget, or it's okay. Had an average budget movie for a horror film. It seems as though like DC is definitely finding these like up and coming directors to work on their movies, and I really like that approach because it's something fresh and new that we haven't seen before, and I'm assuming he got on this project because of James Wan. I think they're friends from what I've heard, and so it's definitely a different perspective from a horror film director to be working on a superhero franchise. It could go either way. It could either go bad or really well, but we'll see. Yeah, David Sandberg, woohoo! And also, I really love Shazam, aka Captain Marvel. It's one of my favorite superheroes. I love Billy Batson. I love the whole idea of a kid saying one word and becoming a superhero. I think that's every kid's dream. So it's So it's definitely exciting to see. I want more movement with this movie, and yeah, I'm excited to see it. All right, guys. So for the sixth announcement this week is that Chris McKay, the director of Lego Batman, is going to be directing a Nightwing movie. Yes, a Nightwing movie, guys. A Nightwing movie's coming out. I'm so excited for this. This is a super random movie that's coming out, but you know, either way, I'm excited for it. Chris McKay, he did such an amazing job with the Lego Batman. Even though the movie is basically a comedy, if you watch the movie, you can definitely tell that he did do his research with the DC lore and the mythology. So I'm excited to see his take on this movie. And also, Bill Dubuque is going to be screenplaying Nightwing. He worked on The Accountant. If you guys never watched The Accountant, you guys are missing out. Don't read the critics' reviews on Rotten Tomato. Watch that movie. It's super underrated. But yeah, I'm excited for this movie. You guys should be excited. It's gonna happen. A Nightwing movie. If you guys don't know who Nightwing is, he's basically the first Robin, Dick Grayson, who matured and wanted to become his own hero. So instead of taking on the mantle of Batman, he became his own thing and called himself Nightwing when he got older. So my last story for this episode is that Matt Reeves is officially confirmed as the Batman director. Matt Reeves is such a great director. I'm so happy that Warner Brothers and Matt Reeves finally came to a point where they had a compromise. I'm assuming because last week he left. He left the room and it was like, I'm not doing this movie. But it seems like they finally came to an agreement, and so I'm super excited about this. Matt Reeves is such a world-building director. Look at what he's done at look at what he's done with Planet of the Apes. He grounded that movie so much that he made it even better than the movies before that. So that's definitely a skill that he has. He has a skill of working on pre-existing projects and making it his own and making it a lot better than the original. So just think of that for a second. Think of his work with Planet of the Apes and putting that in a Batman universe or a DC universe. It sounds super awesome and exciting. Who knows? This can go south next week. He could probably leave. He could possibly leave next week or in the next couple months, because DC is like that. Nothing's ever promised with DC and their movies. But for right now, let's just be positive and happy, and this is definitely a win for DCEU. So if Matt Reeves decides to stay for this movie, he needs to stand his ground during the production and not have Warner Brothers manipulate his way of directing or the storyline or something along those lines. He has to stand his ground, just stay creative, and let him do his thing for this Batman. And just Warner Brothers just needs to trust their directors and not be so controlling. Remember, this is supposed to be like a sandbox, playing a sandbox mentality, but it definitely doesn't seem like it with everything that's been happening with DCEU. So it's kind of funny that Nightwing got announced the same week that Matt Reeves got confirmed as the director for the Batman. I'm assuming that Chris McKay was already assigned for the Nightwing project a while ago, and they just needed to solidify this Batman movie and make sure that it is going to come forward before anything else happens for within the Batman universe. And guess why? Think about it. Think real hard why they did that together. Okay, you thinking? Alright, it's because Nightwing is going to be in the Batman movie. That's right. You can't announce Robin or Nightwing without introducing him first in a Batman movie, which only makes sense. So definitely expect those news or rumors soon, in the next couple weeks or the next couple months. Who knows? But I have a strong feeling. I would bet my money on this, that he's going to be in the Batman movie. So that's it for this week's episode of Heroes Avenue. Remember to hit that like button, to hit that subscribe button, and comment below about what you think about everything that I just spoke about. A lot of announcements this week, I'm definitely sure next week's gonna be exactly the same. So tune in for next week's episode as well. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.